Hello and welcome to exclusive interview series with ET Edge Insights. Today we have with us Mr. Subhakar Kurly. He is the Executive Chairman at Wissen. Subhakar, it's a pleasure to host you.
Thank you, Tanmay.
Thanks for taking the time and speaking to ET Edge Insights.
Thank you, Tanmay. It's my honor to be here.
Right. Let me begin by asking you one of the most important aspects in today's business environment is leadership because change is accelerating. So, in a scenario like this, what are some of the key strategies for effective leadership?
So I think if you look at what was the traditional leadership style
Right.
versus the modern leadership style, I think there is a subtle difference. In the traditional leadership style, you had this whole hierarchy, the way the decisions are made and so on. But now I think with this fast-paced environment,
Right.
I think the leaders have to be really, really adaptive to the changes that are happening. And the decisions have to be made pretty quick because the time is short for you to make a decision, but the impact is very, in the long term. So adaptability is a very, very critical leadership quality that anybody should possess.
Right.
The other thing is the ability to listen, ability to empower people to make decisions in your organizations, because you can't be the bottleneck for decision making in this fast-paced environment. So you should be able to make your teams make decisions at every level,
Right.
so that it's pretty fast. Organizations moves pretty quickly, and I think it'll cope up with whatever the changes that are happening across the industry.
Right. Interestingly, since you've talked about adaptability, is there any specific instance from your experience you can talk about where, as a leader, you had to be adaptable to a situation which was probably tough, and but you came out of it?
So, I mean, a good example could be the COVID situation that we
Right.
all went through,
Right.
right? So everybody panicked, any industry for that matter, not just IT.
Right.
So what we did is we quickly took a step back, analyzed the situation, and said, okay, everybody is in a panic mode, but this phase is going to end at some
Right,
point, right?
right.
So what is it that is going to be after this phase? So we realized that our customers are going to be looking at certain things, certain technologies, certain way of doing their business. So we started adopting and actually having that vision and adopting to what our customers would do after this phase ends,
Right.
and started building the teams internally. And what that resulted is a tremendous growth for our company after this COVID phase ended.
Right. Right.
So that actually worked really well.
Right.
And nobody outside our company believed what we were doing was correct at that time. But now they come back and tell us, okay, what you did was really
Right. Fantastic. That's an example, of tough yet positive leadership
Positive, yeah.
skills. You've talked about adaptability, but and innovation as well. But there's a challenge when you need to implement this within the organization, or more so for you within your leadership team. So how do you foster this culture of innovation and creativity within your team?
So the first thing that what we do at Wissen is basically, I'm a big supporter of a saying. In fact, if you walk around our office, I think you'd still find the saying on our desk. You cannot do business like you did yesterday and continue to be in business tomorrow.
Right.
So questioning status quo is very, very important. And that questioning status quo culture is embedded at every level in our company.
Right. Right.
So when you have that questioning status quo and encouraging people to be innovative at every level, I mean, even the junior most person in our company could have very innovative ideas where the seniors may not be thinking about it.
Right.
So if you encourage that innovation, and if the leaders have a good vision and strategy, so that whatever the risks that you're going to take as a part of your innovation is mitigated, then I think you can balance your stability with whatever the innovation that you want to do.
Right. Right. Well said. One of the key factors of a successful organization is staying one step ahead of its competitors. So, in a fast-paced market, you need to be agile, but yet you'll have to keep in mind how you balance it with your organizational goals. So, if you had to put your entrepreneurship hat, how would you approach this situation?
So obviously, adapting to change is a big thing that
Right.
everybody should possess. And what we do at Wissen is we always try to, instead of looking at it as a staying ahead of a competitor, I focus more in terms of the customers. So we try to stay one step ahead of customers and understand their roadmap on where they are going. So if you do that, I think as an entrepreneur, you're very successful because
Right.
you get more business from the customers, and obviously you'll grow your company.
Right. It's a very critical point you've put forward, customer experience. So, as an organization, obviously, you have a customer front objective. So, is there any instance you can remember where you've put forward a customer experience which is acted very positively within the ecosystem?
So the way that we have dealt with our customers, and by the way, Wissen has a history of not losing a single customer
Wow.
in our journey, and the reason being, obviously all our teams are very customer centric.
Right.
They're very focused on what customer needs, listen to what customer wants, rather than trying to enforce certain things. And all our teams go beyond what we are actually contracted for.
Right.
And that makes a big difference, when we go after large projects, competing with our competitors outside. And a good example that I can give, obviously I don't want to mention the customer name, but there was a huge project that was going on that was given to one of our competitors.
Right.
And halfway through the program, it started falling apart. So without even a contract written, our team stepped in and made sure that that project was successful.
Right.
So that kind of a culture is what we have at
Right,
Wissen.
right.
And that basically greatly differentiates from rest of our competitors, because the first thing that we want to do is make sure our customer is successful before looking at the contracts and other things.
Right, and it resonates very positively with all your customers. So
Yes.
that's fabulous. One last question, Subhakar. You've been a leader. Obviously, you've had tough situations to deal with. So someone who is a budding leader or getting into a leadership position, what are some of the key do's you want to talk about that will make him or her a successful leader going forward?
So a few important thing a leader should possess, obviously, is a leader should walk the talk.
Right.
He should basically be a good listener and act fast, based, and take your decisions quickly. One thing I always tell budding entrepreneurs is, this statement was actually made by our National Security Advisor Ajit Doval in one of the interviews. It's a very powerful statement. He said, leaders don't make good or bad decisions. Leaders make decisions and then make them right. So if you have that passion to make any of your decisions right, I think you'll be successful.
Right. Well said. Very well said. On that note, Subhakar, thank you very much for your wonderful inputs. It was truly a fantastic conversation. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tanmay.
Thank you very much.
Nice talking to you.
Yes.
Bye.